One of the most important things I've learned in academia is learning how to simply just love yourself for the fact that you're okay. And one of the things that you'll realize is that everything about you will be picked apart. Not only maybe other people might sort of pick those things apart, whether it is your job in terms of the service roles that you're doing, whether it is the teaching that you're doing or the research, and you're sort of thinking like, man, I can't do any of these things. So what you begin to realize is just simply like, everything about me is flawed. And every sort of moment of everything that I do is problematic. But then you kind of accept who you are as this very imperfect, problematic individual, just as you are. But then there's a sort of second thing that you learn as you're going through and doing anything in the profession, is learning that absolutely everybody else is. And in fact, you might be the best at the moment for what you're actually doing, but people are not going to admit the fact that that they are not as good as what they actually are. And so once you realize this, that the whole process, the whole journey, everything about it is very difficult to actually do, and the whole thing is made up of a lot of really imperfect, messy people doing very imperfect, messy things, you kind of really begin to be okay with who you are. And I know, trust me, you could watch a bunch of videos where I talk about how challenging that actually is, and I struggle with that every day, just like you. And I'm thinking about this as like, man, I wish I could do this, and I wish I was faster at this, and I wish I was better at that. Like all of those things, you name that particular thing, I wish I was so much better at it, and I wish things would come much more easier. And because it seems like everybody else, it comes so much more easier for them. But here's the thing, you realize that everybody else is acting. Perhaps you're acting too, and you're part of the problem. And you're just realizing that I am okay. And one of the things, as I've kind of emerged, or that I've become comfortable with, is I'm just beginning with the statement is, I don't know everything, and I am absolutely a giant disaster at almost everything that I ever do. And if you look at it, it's a mess. So, does that mean anything? Does that make me any less human to realize any of that stuff? Not really. In fact, what you begin to realize is that there's kind of a nice feeling in that. And it's very forgiving. It's very forgiving of yourself. It's very forgiving of other people. As I've gotten older, I've become less. If I see other people doing things that I'm a little sketched out about, and there's lots of that goes on in all walks of life, and it doesn't matter what those walks of life are, I'm just more forgiving of them. And I think, given my situation and who I am, I'd probably do many of the same things in those circumstances. So I just encourage you, as you go and do interesting things in your life, just be okay with who you are. Just realize that you're absolutely imperfect. And the more that you work on that, it's the sort of magic thing that I've realized. The more you work on that, the more that you push at those things, and you just say, yep, I'm imperfect. Particularly, as other people start doing things and saying things, and you say, yeah, that's absolutely true. I am imperfect. There's not much that anybody can say. There's not much that goes on yeah, it hurts. And the more that I let go of that, the less it actually hurts. The more I let go of I am trying to be as perfect as possible, the more I kind of accept myself for who I am. And the easier it is to deal with so many things that go on in our lives. The more I'm able to smile through things, the more I'm able to just think all of it is kind of silly, but we do it anyways. That's all right. I mean, frankly, that is all right. And the more I realize, like, as I do these things, and if I'm imperfect, and if I go do something that is imperfect, that doesn't impress other people, that's fine too. I'm okay with that. I can live with it, because I don't know what the right answer is. And frankly, I don't think you do either. I wish we knew what the right answer was. I wish the world was really simple, but it's not. And it's never going to be. And so learning to be just okay. If I'm a mess, I'm never going to get everything done. That's all right. I think that's what it's all about anyways. And I'm able to smile through things and just be okay. I hope you are too.